Hey guys, Sam back with you here on Tuesday, July 10th, kind of midday here. And next up, as it's a Tuesday, we're looking at traditional assets. And I've got the polling results that we do. We ask our members what they'd like to see. And second up here is another FX pair. I've got the Swiss franc against the Japanese yen. So here we go. This is a 3-day chart. So I tell you, with FX, you really want to look longer term to try and get in sync with what the trend is. So this, I prefer the 3-day to the weekly myself. I just like to get the look of it here. So I can see here, now we're going back. We got quite a lot of history here. We're going all the way back here to 2004, working off of this set of lows here. So it looks to me like, if I just do some basic stuff here, come here. All right, so just working from that swing low to that, or pardon me, that swing high to that swing low. Looks like we get to the 50 Vegas wave, and then we get a failure swing here. So this holds it. So, you know, I'm inclined to work from this pivot as though it looks like that's our last significant low here. And then, so if you were looking at something like this, and you're kind of saying, okay, well, I got retracements here. So I would start just doing some basic things. So first thing off, right, so I'd get these dominant pivots. I'd get them wicked off. Right, so it looks like this clearly was something important, right? I didn't mean to do that. Let's get this up here. It looks like that might be something to consider. You can see how these may be coming into play here. Here's another one right here. So I would get those wicked off, trying to get a sense of, you know, do we have a situation here where we have prior resistance kicking in as support? You can make a case there. Well, so the obvious thing next would be, where's our fib swings? Where's our algo pull? I'm inclined to work from this as a 1-2, right? So if I pull from here, let's just get a look at that. Here's, I'll get it right on there. Okay, so what do we have there? So on a 3-day chart, we are to the 618 to the tick. Right, so, you know, as I said, I mean, all I can do is show this to you over and over and over again and let you draw your own conclusions. So there we have, so we know, okay, so the pivots that we've chosen clearly are in play. So if given that I've got this 3-wave structure here, I'm inclined to start with just first look at it here. I'm inclined to go this way. So 1, 2, 3. Looks like I got an ABC coming down here for a 4 and then going up for a 5 up here. Well, of course, the first thing we notice is that if this is our 1 wave, right? Even any of these, right? If this is our 1 wave, well, we've overlapped. So this is a diagonal on this very large time frame. So, you know, we look at a couple of things. So we'd look at the all the way halfway back, working from here. Now we're in between the 50 and the 618. So as it's a diagonal, so that's why I'm doing that. So as it's a diagonal, we want to check for the start of the wave 1 through the top of the wave 3, in this case as a bullet. But I'd check the all the way as well, see if I get anything that's significant there. Not really. So I'm sticking with this count here until I see some reason to change that. So, you know, so I get a little ABC down here. Looks like there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into a 3. So it looks like I've got a, you know, so the 3, 4, 5 is, I probably have to get to a smaller time frame to dig out the 1, 2. But it looks like there's some sort of 1, 2 in here, and I get a 3. Looks like a sideways triangle, and then coming in for that here, let's get that to a lower degree. All right, so something along these lines here. I'm not really making a huge effort to try and dig out that 1 just yet. So there's a 5-wave structure there. So I've got an impulsive structure going into this 3 high, but then I've got this deep, boy, that's annoying, this deep retracement here. You got to get these individually or it will move them all together. All right, so get you up there. All right, so there we got a 1, 2. I got an impulsive 3. I've got a deep 4, but I've got a technical 4. So pulling from this, I'm to the 618 to the tick. So I like this setup here. I like working from this pivot here. So checking all of that, looks like I might have something at play here. So let's start breaking it down to smaller time frames. We know we've got an algo target up here, right? So from our 618, we know an algorithm bought there is, well, they started buying here. They're defending here. So they defend it right to the 618, and now we've had a push off of that. And interestingly, now we've come right back to this wave 1 high. Prior resistance, potentially now kicking in here at support right at the 50%. All right, so we went down to the 618. Let's go back and check the 50. Now we're getting a move off of the 50. So, and then of course we can do this here. This looks pretty reasonable, pretty straightforward. We just get a little A, B, C to take us down. And get that underneath. So there we lay a little structure going to it. All right, let's go down to the daily. Right. So next stop would be the daily. So we know what the trend is. We know potentially where we are in a count here. So as we look now, well, a couple of things to look at. Oh, God, that annoys me. Okay, so here we go, right there. So let's, given that we know this is our 618 here, well, we'll leave those on there for now. Okay, so first we got to look at this and say, okay, well, boy, that's a pretty extended C wave. So I look here and say, okay, well, is there a relationship? Why do we stop here? Well, it's kind of a part. Well, we know we have the 618. Anything else on the way down? So if I just do the basics here, just look for a relationship. Oh. Trading view giving me problems today. So if I take the length of my A wave here and project it to my B, and then I just pull this over so we can see what we get there. So we go right into the hot box. So, you know, again, guys, I show the same thing every time. So there we go. So that's an extreme for a C wave, right? So here's the 100% most common 272, then 1618 into this. So it would be similar to a wave 3, where we have that high probability pocket down here for a C wave. Now it's an extreme for a C, but that's where we get our pivot, and then we've had a reaction coming off of that. So let's see. So we have a contender here for a hard pivot for a 4 low in a diagonal. Now coming out of this, if we're moving away from this, so all we can do is just start analyzing some of these pivots. So let me take this off. As we know, this is our important pivot low here that we're trying to work off of. I'm gonna change that color. Let's go to, we'll put it in red. Okay, so that's the important low. We do not want to see it go below that. So looking here, looks like I might have some sort of now we're looking for diagonals, right? So we're looking for 3s, since we know we have a diagonal. So it would appear to me that I get something that could play like this. So I might have an A, B, C into that. So that would be, so in this context of a diagonal, we'd have potentially a 1, 2, no, I'm going to change that. Let's get rid of that. So let's do it this way. I think we're more likely 1, 2. Oh, let's see. We get 3. So it looks like there might be a 3 in here. So we got to get. Well, let's do it this way. Let me try this again. I could be wrong about the diagonal. Okay, so let's do it this way. Let's count it as a 5. So let's check this as a possibility. So if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so we get a little ABC. We get an ABC here. So it's just easier. I think it's easier for us to break it down that way. Okay, so in this, so from here, this will just be easier for me to show it to you. So from here, I get a little ABC. Now let's lower that scale, or that degree. So let's get that down, and let's get this one up. Okay, so bear with me, guys. All right, let's get that up. Okay, so we got that. All right, so and then now going back into it. So now it looks like I get a little A, B, C like that every time. Okay, there we get that. So and then we got our little, if I can get it without moving the whole thing. There we go. Okay, so now we got the structure that we're looking for, and it looks like I've got an A, B, C coming down for my 4. All right, so there's our A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C. So we've got all the ingredients here. Here's our 1, A, B, C into our 2. So we got everything we'd like to see in a diagonal. All right, so what is it technical? Next question, right? What did the algos do? Now remember, I'm still here on a daily chart. So working from, as I would with any diagonal, I'm gonna take am I right on it? My swing low, from my start of my 1 through the top of my 3rd. All right, can you guys see that? It's probably a little tricky to see. Let me zoom in here and make sure I'm right on this. Yep, I'm right on it. Okay, so what do we get here? All right, so we come down. So we know we're going deep for the 4. We've gone deep for the 4, I should say it that way, as we've overlapped the 1. Not by a lot, but remember this is a daily chart, so that's bigger than you think. So we get a pretty good overlap of the 1, which creates the diagonal shape. Now, I don't know, again, I don't know how many times I have to show this to you. So there we go, right? Do you see it? There's on the daily chart. So here algos start buying at the 50. They defend to the 618. They take it straight to target. Right, and liked it so much they came back for a revisit. Okay, so we've tapped that target, we've tested that twice and had a reaction 2 times in a row. Reaction, reaction, and right down to the 50. So what happens next? Now I just showed you the same thing. If you watched, I know my members most likely will have watched at least one or two of them. But so if you just saw that, you saw the exact same thing on the dollar Canadian. All right, on a daily chart. So I just remind you that if you're trading FX, you really want to be looking at daily and 4 hours to try and get behind the longer trend, because these are trending markets. That's why traders like them. So if we get that, so if assuming I've got a completed diagonal, and I take it up to my high here. So all I'm doing now is going from the start of it. So here's my completed diagonal structure. So you could make a case here that I have some sort of an ABC that's gone in. Well, what do we do down here? Right, so from swing low to swing high. So if that's gonna play as a diagonal and stay as a diagonal, then there I've got my 1 wave. Right, now I've got my 2 wave. Now I'm looking for 3, 4, and 5 to go up here. So let's get that. We can go to white on that. Let's go up a degree. All right, so let's go to sub minuet. Okay, that'll work. So we'll go sub minuet. All right, so there's our 1 wave that's complete. What are we looking for? We're looking for a 3 wave correction into the B. Well, we get a bit of an expansion here in the B, but it looks like that's what I've got. So A, B, then down for the C, which comes just a couple of ticks. So look here how this, so we come back to, why is it stopping there? Why is it stopping there? What's all the way over here to the left? The wave 1 high, right? So we golden zone, tap it. Well, this actually was off of this, so let me pull this back here. So here's the front run on the 618, right to target. Now we go complete the 1 wave. We come back to the 618. And now we've seen a reaction come off of that. So it looks like I've got a little ABC into my B wave here, and then a straight rip down for my C. So I have a contender here now for a 2 wave to be in relative to where we are in the larger count. So as we're trading this as a diagonal, here's the 4. I come out of the 4 with a leading diagonal. And I get so I've got a flat here, a flat correction. And we come down here for my C, right? We double top here with the B. So A, B, C into the B, then straight we go down, there's our C. So I've got a good contender here, a technical pivot for a second. Well, we know from many examples, right, that I've shown you here, that if we're going to get this to play Elliott ball, we've got a 1, 2, we've got a target up here for a third, and we know it's likely to move in some sort of impulsive structure. So that becomes a reasonable target for our third, if we're going to go there. So that's sitting here, where's our low? Off of this low here. So this, just eyeballing it here, that's a couple months away easily here, right? So, yeah, that's at least 60 could be 90 days to get up there. So we're looking for a fairly well-established trend. Listen, that could go much longer than that. I'm just kind of eyeballing that. We don't know what angle that's going to take. So here I am at a fairly steep angle. What it could easily do that. Now we're off in towards the end of the year. So my little drawing here is just to show you the shape that we're looking for, not a projection on time. Excuse me. So keep that in mind. All right, so but the point being that if this is going to play as if we've got a good 1, 2, and we have a lot of ingredients here, we have the pattern, we have the fib swing, we have the algo participation, we have the structural resistance offering the support. So a lot of things to lead you to the idea that you've got a fairly good candidate here for a 1, 2. All right, well, what else can we do here? Well, again, I'm staying on the daily because I want to re-emphasize and continue to emphasize to anyone who's maybe you've been trading crypto and you got this bear market in crypto and you're like, maybe I'll look at some other assets. Well, I really, particularly if you're just starting in FX, I want to encourage you to stay 4-hour time frame and above. The smallest time frame that I will use for FX trading is the 60-minute because I don't want to get caught up in all of the chop that happens throughout the course of trading trying to day trade FX. I'm sure some do it successfully. It's a lot of noise. It's a lot of volatility and a lot of noise because FX of all the markets is hyper sensitive to the latest report that's coming out that gives some whiff of a clue as to what the next interest rate policy decision is going to be. So I would encourage you to stay long term, and because these are trending markets, we want to look for that opportunity to catch a move like that. Or even that, or on the short side. And the other thing I will continue to remind you, it's infinitely easier to trade FX than it is crypto. right? Particularly if you're considering going short, right? You don't have to borrow it's because you're trading a derivative. You're trading, well, you're trading off of margin. You're not having to borrow somebody's currency or cryptocurrency to trade a short and then do all that calculation that we have to figure out to. If you've not traded FX before, the ease with which you enter and exit the market, I think, will be appealing. You got to pay attention to the spreads, but I think you will find that will be very attractive to you as a trader, the ease with which you can go long or short. Okay, but that said, and I really went into great depth about that on the last video, so I don't want to harp on it here. So I've got a good candidate here for a 1-2. Well, of course, first thing I'm going to do, if I've got 3 pivots to work with, right? We know what's next, right? First, we're going to put a pitchfork on it. Okay, so we have this right here. So it's damn near golden. So let's look here. That's close, right? So a perfect golden is in the golden zone. That's pretty close here. So I'll just say this. As I've said, I don't know how many times, best odds in trading. If this pivot holds, right? We've got 3 pivots. If this pivot holds, 80% probability of making the median line. Now, nothing says we have to stop here at the algo target. We could easily go up here to our wave 3 target that would catch that upper parallel. Likely there's a reaction here, so that might create the 1-2, or we might have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's going to be some sub-degree here that may be at play here, but you have. This is the important pivot. So you could be a buyer right here. You could be, right? If you're not getting crazy about the size. Remember, as a daily chart, that's a bigger move than you might appreciate just looking here at a daily. But that's our target. So if this pivot holds, or maybe we'll go down to a 60-minute and look for a better entry here. But in terms of the direction of the market, right? This is what we're after here. So that's what we're sitting here at 112 with a target of 135, right? So you catch that. That can make your year right there. Right, and there it is. It's pretty textbook. Like that's not a complicated trade, right? We've got our median lines on it to give us the timing. We've got our retracement. We've got an Elliott wave count. We've got all of the ingredients that we look for. You do have to get this spot on it, which can take a little tweaking. All right, so now looks like let's get this spot on it. All right, there we go. Now we'll back it up. All right, so. High probability here. We know the most likely target up here is going to be the 1618, 175, and as you know, right? So I'll just show you again for any of you that have not seen this or gotten comfortable with this. So take the length of the 1 wave projected from my wave 2 low, and we know that the highest probability for a wave 3, if we're going to get a wave 3. Now we don't know that we are, but if this is going to play as a 4 and we're going up to a 5, it's somewhere in there we're going to get a third wave. So if we can catch the pivot here, again, now we've moved away from it and we're going to go down trying to fine tune that entry. But if you can get this move here, that's the reason to be looking in the FX market. Those are substantial trends. That like I said, that can make your whole year, that one trade. All right, but let's go down. Let's go off the daily here. We know we have our targets. We have our median line. So let's go down to the 1 hour. See if we can fine tune that entry. So here, So here, even going to the 60-minute, you see the kind of volatility and the chop that can be in here, which is why again I want to encourage you to consider this for longer-term swing trading. All right, so what do you got? It looks like we might have a diagonal here again. So looking here, it looks like I might be able to play this as 1, 2. I got to check that. Oh, it looks like maybe 3, 4, 5 going in. So let's just check here and see if it's technical. All right, so first thing, going from my low here, I'm going to go to my wave 3 high. All right, I'm going to pull this off so as not to confuse you. All right. Let's open that up. Okay, so here 1, well, that's a hell of a 2. Deep 2, up we go for the 3, 4. No question we're overlapping here, but I'm going up to challenge those highs. So it looks more like a diagonal than anything else that I could count this as. So it looks like I've got a good diagonal. It looks like I could be going into some A, B, C to push. We might be going up here. Now I got to check this. We got to be, well, let's see. So that looks like that's ABC coming in here, ABC coming down. This could be A, B, and then ABC is going in to finish that to give us that diagonal shape. So that's one to consider. So at this point, so me looking at this, right, and I have not looked at this in a while. So if we're going to go up here, and realize this algo target up here, which. So in drawing that, I'm working off of the buy here at the fifth, between the 50 and the 618. So that's how I come to that target. So swing low, swing high to the 3, down to the 50. It looks like we're going up here, but I'm going to have other targets in here. So if I look at it here, so just looking here, I would look at this because I've got yet another diagonal here. So do you see what I just did? Let me label it here so you can see what I'm doing. So I've got potentially a diagonal underway, but in the 5th wave of the diagonal, I have another potential diagonal going in. Do you see this? So I've got a 3, 4, and potentially a 5 going in. Here, we don't know where that tops, right? So now we got to look at it and say, well, can it get there? Yeah, well, of course, anything's possible. But do you see what I've got here? So I've got a diagonal. I've got a leading diagonal being completed in the 5th wave by an ending diagonal. Let's raise that degree here, and so maybe that'll make it easier to spot. Okay, so we'll go to yellow so you can see it. Okay, so here I've got a 1, 2, 3, and then it looks like I'm going 1, 2, 3. That's why I use that second pivot. So when it's the same thing, the same reason that I go from the start of 1 to the pivot of 3 to the peak of 3, looking for the 4 at the 50. I'm doing the same thing here. So I'm taking the start of it here. I'm going to the wave 3 high. Get it right on there. All right, and then what do we do here? So just as we did the 50 here, we've done the 50 again here. Right, so where's that target? Sitting right here. So now you got to look at that and say, all right, are we likely to get to the upper target? Because we're going to need the second. We've got confluence up here. So here in blue, do you see if I shake that? In blue, so if I put that right back on that. So I've got a little confluence zone here. I have the second algo target, meaning this is going to need to kick in the 5th. I've got a second algo target here in the blue, and then I've got the dominant algo target off of this. All right, so this one, if I do it this way, this one is looking for that target, and then this one is looking for the lower target. Right, so from here, here's the first target, here's the second target in blue. So it's a bit of a push, so we have to watch for what the reaction looks like here. We don't want that to retrace too much. So if you were long off the 50, which I'm not saying I did, I haven't looked at this pair in I don't know how long. So from the 50, we got to pay attention to what happens here. Right? So that means you gotta look left, see, you're going to run into any structural resistance here. You would the same thing, much like I have a pitchfork on it now, I'd draw another pitchfork. So I'd be working from every one of these pivots and see if I can spot what the market is responding to. All right, so first thing we get here. Now, this is a deep 2, no question about it. Right? But what do we get? Get right that on there. All right, have I got it? Can be a little bit annoying, particularly as you move from time frames. Okay, get on there. Okay, there it is. Okay, so here's what I'm trying to show you. All right, so I get a corner pocket. All right, it's a deep 2, but I've got 80% probability if that low holds of making the median line, and I make it right there as I run into the point of control. So here's the trade from that pivot, right? And you can see as we got to the lower parallel here, potential support, there's the 887. That's a deep 2, no doubt about it. Right? I told you a lot of volatility in FX. So, but we do get a 2, and then what do? We go right to the median line. In fact, we hit it a couple of times. So that's as I like to say, if you did nothing else but just focus on corner pockets and golden corner pockets, you'd be very successful in the market. All right, so let's open this up here now on my 60-minute and think about where the next entry would be. So now let's. Do I need this here? Let me try and clean this chart up here. So I'm going to take that off. We know we've got this one on. So we know we've got a good, so whether the pivot is here because we hit the median line here, it looks like we actually go here. So we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to give us that. Or, pardon me, since it's diagonal, my mistake, pardon me. So since it's a diagonal, it's actually this way. So we have A, B, C. Like that, all right? We're looking for 3s in a diagonal, so let me pop that up a little bit. Okay, there we go. So we got A, B, C. All right, going up here. Now, let's clean this up a little bit. So right now, too late to buy it, right? You're chasing it here. You're buying right at this ridge. Now, we certainly, it's certainly possible we get there, we get a break, right? They're going to be stops sitting up here, no question, right? So look what we're running into here. So off to the left, we start wicking these off. We start wicking some of this off. It was prior, let's go back to yellow. We're prior resistance. We've got some of that to consider, right? If we can get through, trading view bugging me today. Okay, if we can get through that, right, then potentially, so the reason to wick that off is because if we can get through it, right, it potentially, now if we get up and we come back down for a retest, it potentially plays as support. So if we get up here and we come back down, that potentially sets us up for support, which could be a launching point for the next move. We don't know. I just encourage you to wick those off. They have a funny way of coming back into play in the market. All right, so here, resistance, resistance again. If we get through, potentially, now it sets up for the support. All right, so let's look over here. Same thing here. We've got potentially resistance that could play as support. So I just want to make the point of encouraging you to always look left. Whenever the market pivots, look left, see if you can understand why. You might find a pivot that's in play that the market's using. So from that 3, 4, now I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is going in. How am I on this third? Let's just check this, right? So this looks like, yeah, so we're good there. So as we're the third is longer than the first. Just trying to get a handle on that. So looking here, I will pretty clearly I can put some sort of a channel on this and say, okay, well this trend line seems to be this move here. If I work something like that, all right. So I've got my nice little up channel here, and I've got the 50 here, but I also, just out of curiosity, will check the 2 to the 3. You can see that we go to the 618, and here's that pivot. So we've got multiple pivots up here. We've got a trending market, and we have the contender here for the for the 5th wave here of this. So if this is 3, 4, then we're finishing this this leading diagonal with an ending diagonal. Right, so we've got multiple targets. So we could pivot up here. If we can we can get through this, then our next stop is up here where we've got the larger algo target, the trend channel, structural, and then we've got the second algo target from the 50 that we bought back here. Oh, come here. That one. All right, so we've got that 50 right here looking for what we've got this target, and then we've got the second target here. Right? Okay, guys, that's, boy, I'm running long today. Okay, so a lot to look at there, some things to learn. I don't want you to think this is easy. There is no easy money in the markets, but there is opportunity, and it's just knowing how to identify them and then manage the risk, both entering the market as well as exiting the market. That will be ultimately what determines your success. Learning how to analyze, as I would like to tell you, that's the fun part. At least if you're into this kind of stuff, that's the easy part. Dealing with your emotions, being in the market, dealing with the money management. Those are things that will challenge you, and that will ultimately determine what your success rate is, and not necessarily in terms of number of winners, because you're always going to be wrong more than you're right. You just have to accept that. But in terms of your profitability, that's the way I should say it. Your profitability will be dictated by how you manage your emotions and your trading once you get into the market here. So if you're in a trade like this, the first question you have to make here is, am I taking profit here at the first target, or am I looking for that push for the third one? Those are just kind of little mini decisions you got to make along the way. Are you tightening up with a stop? Are you a couple of pivots behind? How you want to manage that. It's really partly a function of how much size you would have on if you were long in that. Right? And I'm a big advocate of taking partial profit along the way. So if it's me and I come up to an algo target here that's that technical, I take a partial. And I let some of it run in case I get the kick up here for the 5th. But for the larger degree here now, so if we put this in context, let's go back to a 3-hour. So all we were trying to do was get the better timing here. So if that goes up and completes, right? So if we go up here and we get let's do it this way. We get our 5th, and we get our 5th where we're looking for it. Then we're looking for the 2 before we go 3, before we go 4, we go 4. You see it? And I got to click here to get rid of that. So all of that so there's your potential roadmap. So coming off of this low that we know is technical, we go into a diagonal, we finish with an ending diagonal, and all we're doing is putting in the 1 wave of the larger degree to set up the 2. So all of that, so setting all of that up, all of this comes off. All we're trying to do is get this to be a 1 wave. So we can confirm that we've got a good 1. So if I come back here, and now I'm going 1, I'm looking for 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's what we're after. So the next trade, right, we'd like to see it pivot up here. We're to be in sync with our targets and with this structure. And then it's, again, same thing, just like we did for any of these pivots. Where's the high probability zone? So if this is going to be And again, now I'm hypothetical up here. I don't know that it's going there. Where am I looking for the 2? Right, between the 50 and the 618. Boy, that's pretty good free drawing. Where am I looking for the 3? Here with negative 100, going to be very close to the 1618. So that's the path we're looking for. Now it's is it going to follow that exactly? Not likely, right? There's going to be squiggles and wiggles and pivots and turns all along the way. But the broader structure, that's what we're looking for. So can we fit and accommodate the market's gyrations along the way and not lose sight of this larger structure that we're looking to try and get in? So what's the reason to try and forecast that? Because if you can get what it just takes. You can be wrong 7 out of 10 times. You get one that follows your map, and they will. You'll find them. The better you get at this, you'll find them. This is the reason you do it, for one that follows your roadmap with enough precision to where you can trade it and really profit from it. Right, that offsets all those times that you're going to take the little stops where you're going to buy the 50, you're going to get stopped out just on the other side of the 65, it's going to go to the 786, you're going to be like, I don't know, maybe this doesn't work. That doubt creeps into your mind because you just took a loser, right? As long as those losers are small, it shouldn't deter you. You need to understand it's part of the trading business. Where can I take a calculated risk, make a good business decision, understand that I'm willing to put at risk the spread between where I'm entering and where I'm putting my stop for the ultimate potential reward, and it's got to be 3 to 1 as a minimum, right, to compensate you for taking that risk and putting that capital at risk. It's just, one of these, what is that? That's 110 going to 117. Guys, that's a big payday. That can make your year right there. One trade. And of course, it's not going to go straight, right? There's going to be opportunity to add along the way. So you're going to do it like this, right? Waves within waves. So here's your first opportunity to add, second opportunity to add. Third, maybe you're taking some profit here. You let the inevitable retrace kick in. Where's the 4? Can you catch the 4 to the 5? Right, all sorts of little opportunities along the way, because of course that 5 is going to finish. Now you might get a diagonal, you might get something like that. You might get a diagonal to finish it. You might get an impulse. You just don't know. But you're looking for 5. So now you have a roadmap of where this thing may go over the next many months. And so I would keep that and then track it and see, do I need to adjust? Are we going deep here for the 2? What does the 1 wave look? Do we have something like that? Again, you adapt to what the market reveals. But one of these, right? You get just one of these, and if you do this long enough, I promise you'll get one that'll just follow it. Almost like it's hard to believe how I don't know how many of these I've shown you, but a lot. It's like it's an unfair advantage, right? It's like where the market's going ahead of time, right? And all this is a prediction based on millions of prior Elliott waves, on millions of charts and time frames, and right, what is it we say? History doesn't necessarily repeat, but it will rhyme, right? And there's a lot of rhyming going on in that structure. All right, guys. God, I'm long-winded lately. So there's 33 minutes. I should stop it here. But I just really want to encourage you guys, all the crypto people, to open your minds to trading other spreads. Shouldn't matter what it is. Same approach every time. And certainly fast and easy to open an FX account. All right, so with that, I will wrap here. Just a reminder, give us a follow over on Twitter. It's Trade Devils. That's our handle over there. Easy to find. We really make an effort to engage with you over there. And then you can always learn more about us at our website. That's Trade Devils with an S, tradedevils.com. All right, guys, that'll do it for today. Have a good one.